Okay, this is our tutorial for a front wing for a Formula One, or our version of a Formula One car. We already have a template of the design that you have all downloaded, or if it's YouTube, there's a link to the share file. I'm going to show you how we can put that file into Fusion 360 so we can use that as the start of our design. So in Fusion, where we have this icon over here at the top, we're going to press the open button. And when we do open, over here are your designs that you already have saved from previous work. But we can also say open from computer. And this is where you find the file. So my one, I've already downloaded it over here. It's front spoiler tutorial. You would put this file here. You click that and you should open. It'll have the file that we have there. We're going to use this as the basis. We're going to build our front spoiler onto this model over here. So the first thing when we're designing it, and I'm just making up numbers, so you don't have to pick the exact same numbers, just pick it so it looks right, because that when you do your assessment task, you'll have actual rules that you have to follow and you can adjust it for those rules. So we need the nose. The spoiler for a Formula One car has like a tube that comes out the front, some wings off the side, and then some vertical supports at the end. So we're going to do that. We're going to start by doing the nose of the Formula One, the nose of the front wing. We're going to go into the sketch. We can how do we do this? So before we do sketching, we have over here, we have a template. This over here is like the car, and over here, these panels is that we're going to be attaching our wing to that. So we're going to need to use these in our design. The one way we can do this is we are going to make a new plane. So we're going to press under construction, we're going to set offset plane. And what this will do is we want to select, we'll hide this body. We want to select this plane over here. And we want to offset this. We want this to be all the way, I have my constructions hidden. We want this offset plane to be where we want the very tip of our wing to be. So the very tip of the car, the very front piece of the car, I'm making up a length. So let's say I want 1 meter ahead. That's the 1,100. And I'll press OK. This over here is the very front bit of our car. Then when I do sketch, I want to press that plane, and so now when I'm doing a shape, this is going to be the shape of the very, very front of the car. On this shape, I'm just going to make a rectangle. Does the size matter? Not really. So I'm just making a rectangle shape over here, and then I'll finish that sketch. So this will be the very front nose of our car. This will be the first part of the car that is like hitting the wind. Now we have to make this connect to this body. So what we're going to do is we will go to create. We'll start by using the loft tool. So we'll press loft. And then if we press this shape over here, and this shape over here, do we get a loft with that? We should. What's the, is closed the option? No, not closed. Oh, maybe it has to be hollow, okay. We need to make a solid rectangle here before we can start. So before we do that, we will press the split body. We're going to get this body over here, and we're going to split it by this shape over here. And then when we press OK, now in the bodies we should have, I took that nose piece off and just hid it for now. We'll use that piece later. but I hid that. So now we have this. This is a rectangle, and this is also a rectangle. We can now go to the loft tool, press loft, and we can press this plane over here. So this profile and that profile, and then we have a very rudimentary looking part for our car. All right, so that could work. And for this simple one, we'll just keep it as that. We'll worry about smoothing this out, or I can show other ways for us to smooth that out later. But for now, we will just stay with this, and we'll turn this into our wing. So now our wing, we need to get those like curved surfaces at the front. Sorry, those two curved surfaces. We're going to go to sketch. This one we're going to press, we want to press this plane. I'll hide the body so we're not confused. Oh, we have to change something. So when we did this body, it connected together. We don't want this, we don't want it to be one body. So when we did our loft, we're going to right click. We need to edit this one. You're going to let me edit? Edit feature. And instead of join, we have to make it a new body. Okay. I don't know why, because I tried to put some color in here. So these are changing to black. We can actually change this color so we'll know what we're working with. And I'll show you how to do that now. If we, over here, body 8, that's, if we highlight this body, that's what this nose should be. And I believe in your examples, it's also going to be called body 8, if you've done the same steps that I have. If we right click this, we go to appearance. So I pressed right click to that body 8, press the appearance button. Over here in the library, we're going to change what color we want. So let's just pick a color, metal, aluminium. The front of the car is red, so to not confuse it, let's pick another. We're going to press aluminium white and just drag that over. So now we can visually tell that this is a separate piece. So now we're going to make the horizontal wings. We will press the sketch tool. We want to press this plane over here where my mouse is hovering over. If you hold, so right now I'm holding the left mouse button. When you do that, it opens up this table. And what this is saying, it's your mouse right now is hovering over multiple elements in your drawing. So if you hold the left mouse button, you'll get this little table, and then it lets you select which actual element you wanted to press by highlighting that particular element. So we see here we have like the faces of the bodies that we have, and the X and Y and the X and Y and the Y and Z plane. The plane we want to pick is the YZ plane. And now we can just do some drawing. So I want to just make a curved line. So I'm going to do a spline. I will just make up a shape. I'll do this shape over here. So I've just drawn a line. How does that work? Is that visible on the projector? Tell you what I will do though. I think maybe if I change this appearance, let me see if I change this to if I change this to a darker color. See if I change it to a darker color. Not aluminium polished. See if yellow is a better color, just for the sake of this tutorial so you can see it. So if it's yellow, and then we'll go back to editing this. Edit sketch. So I press the spline tool, and what the spline tool does is it allows me to make curvy lines. So are you able to see that line better now? Yep. So I'm just pressing it at 2 points over here, and then I press this tick. And so once you do the spline, you see how it has these green dots over here. So since you're in year 12, I can use high technical math terms for you. What this is doing here is it's saying this is a line, so a function, a polynomial of some sort. And what these green lines are saying is you want it to be the tangent at that point to match that. And then the distance they're apart is like the double derivative, how much you want it to curve at that point. So if I think I press escape, right? If I press escape, I can press this line, and now I can move this, and I can change, you can see I can change in the curviness of that particular line. So I can change this line to be a particular way, and I believe you can also change the, you can also move the circles again using the white center, and it's going to try to make the lines to match that. The closer the green dots are together, the less curvy it is, and the further the green dots are together, so the further the green dots are apart, which one is it? They're apart. It forces it to be straighter, so right where the tangent is, and when they're close together, it's not as constrained for how straight it needs to be. Okay, so I have this. Now this is only a 2D line, so I have to make it into 3D. So I'm going to press the offset tool up here. I'm going to press this line that I just made, and so now I can give this thing some sort of thickness. Let's say I want it to be 10 mil in reverse. So minus 10. And press enter. So now we have a shape here, and I also need to close this off. So I'm actually going to use I'm going to make a curve again with the spline tool and press tick, and I'm going to get this line now to actually assist us. I'm going to hide that just so it's not flashing on our screen. We know where we're looking at. Then I move this green line, something like that. So now it's that end of the curve, and we'll do the same thing over here. Finish sketch. So now this can be we can turn this into a 3D object now. Let's reveal this part over here, and hopefully it doesn't overlap, does it? Oh, good, it doesn't overlap that part. Wonderful. So to turn this into a 3D object, we are going to use the extrude. We're going to click, we want to click this profile in here, so we'll hold the mouse button, and if we go there, that's the profile we want to expand. We will send it out this way, and we'll mirror it later. So you've got to choose like how far we want this to go out. Probably just making up a distance that far looks fine. And then right now I have it as cut. So instead of cut, I want to join it. And I should be able to, I think I have to hide this thing. And if I press OK, there we go. We have our first part of the wing there. And we can make another wing beneath it now. I'm just going to do the same thing to show you again. Sketch. To use for reference, I want to, so Fusion 360, once you've finished with a sketch, it disappears it, it hides it for you. But you can, if you open up the tree here where it says sketches, you can see these are the previous sketches we used that are hidden. So I want to unhide the previous sketch so I can actually use it as like a reference in my current drawing. Because I don't want them to overlap. This one, okay. I want this line to go from here to here. And this one, I want this one to go. So in this case over here, I want to close this off again. I could use the spline. There's also other options I can pick, because I'll show you might want to use any of these. Let's say I want to make it with an ellipse. I can press the ellipse tool, and if I press the ellipse tool, I can hover over this shape over here and press there, and then, no, it's not the right shape I want. Are there any other options for ellipses? No, they're not. We can do it with circle then. We can do a 2-point circle. I can press this shape and this shape over here, and that rounds off the edge there. And I just got to make sure when I'm expanding it into 3D that I pick the whole shape. Okay, we have that here. Let's go and extrude. So when I'm selecting it for extrude, I've got to make sure I press this whole part, otherwise it's not going to count that circle. Unhide, let's get that shape again. Extrude. For this one, I think it looks better if it's the same length. So I think the first one was 600. Alright, so now we have this part over here. Then we want to make like a vertical support for it at the end. We'll go to sketch. So we can either do the same thing we did before when we did this part over here. We can either press the plane and then offset it to that distance, or because this over here is a flat surface, we can do the sketch directly on this surface over here. And because we made them both 600, they should be fine. So I'm just going to guess a shape that I'm going to draw this shape here. Before I draw this shape, I want to make it visible, more clarity with these other shapes that are happening behind here. We're going to use the project tool. Project and include, press that project button. I want to press this flat surface over here, and then press OK, and then we'll look what happens. We press OK. So now we have purple lines, which are going to be more visible when I hide this for you. So when I hide it, you see these purple lines now? So we want our horizontal support, sorry, our vertical support to cover these purple lines. So I'm just going to make up a shape. We'll go this line. I'm just doing what I think would look cool. Right, it's the particular shape I want. I'll finish that sketch. I will then go in, have a look at the views that we had here before. Let's go and extrude. We want this shape and these two. And this one we'll make this minus 30. So minus 10. And why is there an issue with you? Let me see if I can just do this. What about just this shape? Okay. Minus 10. There you go. Now that's actually starting to look like the front of a Formula One car or an Indy car equivalent or something like that. And that's basically all we need. We just got to flip this now to do both sides. But before we flip it, let's hide this. Which one's this body? Hide this body number 3. Hide the wheels. Hide the axle and these parts over here. We have this part over here. This. Do you remember what this rectangular looking shape was for? That was to, yeah, that's to fit it into the body. So we have to actually cut that out of the shape because we see here that's solid. So to cut that out, we'll make both the shapes visible. And we'll use the combine tool, not the split body tool, the combine tool. Now I know the word combined means to add together, but combine means we just want to include these geometries with each other. So we want to select we'll select the wing, and the tool will be that thing inside. And then over here, the operation, instead of joining, we're going to say subtract. And then when we press O, and we want to keep this tool as well, because we're going to use that red box later. And if we press OK, now, if we hide this, we see how this is hollow. Right? We can also, if we go back before we do this step, so I'm actually going to undo that, we can do the same thing, but we can start to say where we want our bolts to come into some sort of connectors to the Formula One car. So I'm going to do this kind of quick. Just like we extruded the wings, let's just say we're designing the Formula One car and we say we want 4 bolts to connect it to the Formula One car by the side. So we'll go over here, we'll make a bolt, say 20 mil diameter over there. And I want to make this into we'll make it into a rectangular pattern. We'll select this object. The directions we want, yeah, we want that, those directions look fine. So we want 2 in that direction and 2 in that direction. For the direction, I think we need to press this. Yeah, there you go. So I want to make this pattern. Press OK. We should have 4 circles there. With these 4 circles, we're going to finish this we'll those 4, and we want to make these bolts go through both of the bodies, so just want that length to go somewhere out like that, and we don't want it to be cut out, we want it to be joined to this body over here. So these are going to be the bolts that we can connect to. And these are not actual bolts, these are just rods that we're sticking out, but these are like the simulation of what our bolts will be on our wing. And before we finish this, I'm going to show you how to do the mirror tool. So we can do it twice. So over here we'll go create, mirror. We want to mirror this shape. So I'm clicking this shape because this shape has bolts on one side but not on the other side. And then the mirror surface we want this plane over here. So when we press OK, it will generate the bolts on the other side. Let's go to look at this body over here. This wing that we're going to mirror. We'll mirror this wing and then we'll cut these bolts out for that wing. No, we'll cut the bolts out first. So now we'll do that combination. We want to keep this wing. We want to cut out this body over here. The cut, keep the tools, yes. So now, let's have a look. If we hide this part, this is what our actual wing looks like. Right? And so these bolts are just like, as they're going to screw that onto the wings as they want to drive the car. And we have to now flip this body to mirror this. So we'll go create, mirror, selected that body because it's all covered in blue. The plane will be this plane. And then when we press OK, there you go, that should be that. And I'm going to pause the tutorial at this point. That is the front wing of the car.